Hola, mi amigos. Welcome to another episode of the Fitness Business Life podcast. I'm here today with my co-host, Steve-O, the main man, Clark.
How's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well.
Steve-O, we're off to San Diego in like, I don't know,
20-something days.
You're
I'll need to check.
not counting or nothing?
Well, I didn't look today. I haven't looked in the last few days, but it's not too far away.
Well, I was just brushing up on my Spanish a wee bit to get for when we get to San Diego, because it's pretty close to Mexico as well. You know, we can actually skip over the border into Mexico for a day or something. Is there not a wall there now? Shit, I don't know. I don't know, dude.
I think Donald Trump had something to do with that.
Maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger stopped him.
We'll never know. We'll find out.
We'll find out when we get there anyway. Anyway, welcome to another episode, and today what are we going to be talking about?
We're going to talk about sales.
Yep.
And how to get more sales, what you should be doing, what you should probably be avoiding. And it's going to be interesting because you have a lot of input on this and me not so much. I'm mostly the guy who the customers deal with. You know, I'm the coach in the gym and stuff. So it's my job to make sure that they're working well and all those kinds of things, but it's your job to kind of get them through the door. So, which is a whole different ballgame, really. Yeah, absolutely. And in that respect, I have very little experience. So, which I'm actually glad about today for the purposes of the podcast. Anyway. Yeah. So I'm going to learn stuff along with these guys who are listening and watching on YouTube. Yeah. So how should we start this then? So I think I should start by saying that I was pretty bad at this too. You know, I'm not saying that you're bad at it. I'm just saying no experience. Oh yeah, right, okay. So I would probably say that I wasn't the greatest at selling in monetary terms, and it took a lot of work to get me to the point now. I mean, you know, in the last 2 years, I've made over like 200 high ticket sales, which is pretty cool. Do you know what I mean? To be able to say that I've done that, and like we spoke on our last episode about commitment, you know, that was part of my commitment to do that. So I've gotten pretty good at it. You know, there's still, I wouldn't say I'm an expert salesman. I don't think that you can ever like become an expert salesman. Maybe, you know, 50, 60 years down the line, you could probably say that. But I've gained a lot of information in the last couple of years, and I definitely want to share it today. So I guess, you know, I would say the first thing that you need to do is change your mindset around sales. Purely because, you know, you and I come from similar backgrounds. You know, even in terms of the environment that we grew up in, like we didn't grow up in a necessarily, you know, rich environment. Like we weren't poor by any stretch of the imagination, but like money wasn't abundant. My granny, my granny is always for the underdog, right? No matter what in life, like you know, if there's the Robin Hood and if the Sheriff of Nottingham, my granny doesn't care about the background. Like she doesn't care if Robin Hood, like, you know, murdered and killed people for nothing. He's the underdog. I don't care. The Sheriff of Nottingham's a good guy. I was almost going to say it's more relatable, but I hope that it's not that relatable to your granny. You know, murder. So no matter what in life, if someone was successful, I always remember my granny having a pop at them. Like always, like it doesn't matter. Like I just don't like him, and she's so stubborn and set in her way. Don't like him. He's a show off, and you know, those wee things, alright, she probably means no harm, bad, but those wee things kind of stick with you. Yeah. So I would say the first thing that I had to do was change my mindset around, you know, purchasing or selling a service or a product. One of the ways that I remember thinking about it was if I sold someone a product or a service, I was the winner and they were the loser. Right, like a status game kind of thing. Yes, right. I took money from that person. I won, they lost. Yeah. Which didn't really sit well with me. I wasn't comfortable with doing that, especially in our industry, because we work in the health and fitness industry, and we have a duty and an obligation to help people. So when I was, you know, selling our product or our service, I was kind of, you know, at war with myself in my own head. Holy shit, I really want to help this person. So I don't want to take their money. I don't want them to be the loser because I want them to be the winner because I want them to win.
Yeah. You
Right?
want them to be the success story.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So I had to change my mindset around that first of all. Okay, because there's a couple of facts, right? If you have a product or service that you know deep down is going to add value to someone's life, it's going to give them a better quality of life, and we work in the health and fitness industry, we fucking save lives, right? So we have a duty and an obligation to get that product into as many hands as we possibly can. End of story, right? Now, there might be people listening to this here who kind of grew up with the same sort of, maybe the same mentality as what I did years ago. Well, then why don't you just help people for free? Okay? And I've done that, right? And this is what I know to be 100% true. If you give someone something for free, they do not value it. So they're less likely to show up and do the fucking work. It's not the money transaction. It's not the paper transaction, because it is just paper at the end of the day. It is the investment. It's the emotional investment to try to get someone to commit is what matters, right? Then on the back of that, right, if you deliver an amazing service, if you have delivered absolute quality, and you know that if the person does with this product what they're supposed to do, it will save their life, in our industry, or it will give them a better life. If they don't do that, if they don't use the product or service the way it was meant to be used, it's not your fucking fault.
Yeah.
It's not, right? Yeah. Because think of it this way. If someone goes into a game store and they buy the latest, I don't know, do they even do Segas anymore? Is Sega a thing? I don't know, right? And they buy the latest Sega, right? Xbox, okay, right? And they bring it home and they don't take it out of the box. Is it the store's fault?
No. Yeah. I see where you're getting at now.
So it is not your fault if someone doesn't do what they're supposed to do with the product or service. As long as you know that it is going to deliver quality and you believe in the product or service, you have a duty and an obligation to get it into their hands. What they do with it is completely up to them.
Yeah, so you're not babysitting them and stuff, and it's because it's in their best interest, first of all, that the product gets in their hand because it was going to change their life. But also as well, it's important for them to invest in that 100%. Because they're going to take it seriously. They're going to take what you have to say and remind everyone that you've been through education. So you've had to pay for the education to get the knowledge in order to come up with a service or product, to get it in front of their eyes before it even goes into their hands. So any advertising or anything that you need to do, that needs to be looked after. They're going to take it more seriously when they have to pay for it. So yeah, 100%. It's amazing.
So we get 20 plus students through every single course now, right? Do every single one of those students? Well, I'm probably going against what I actually say here, because the vast majority of them do apply what they're given. But if they don't apply it, it's really not my problem. I've given them all the resources, I've given the help, I'm there for them all the time. If they need it, I'm right there. All they got to do is pick up the phone. But if they don't do that, there's not really much I can do. Now I will hold people accountable all the time. But again, if they don't do the thing that I'm holding them accountable to, it's not really, there's not really much that I can do. But I know on that product alone that people are unhappy in their career, which I've experienced hundreds of times now. People they can't get up out of bed in the morning. They're unhappy in their career. It affects their family life. It affects their confidence. Absolutely everything. And every day I get up and think to myself, there are people in that position, and I need to do absolutely every fucking thing I can in my power to get them out of that position and to get them into a happier place, which I know I can put someone in.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it kind of goes alongside the way I would imagine a lot of people think about sales. I know through conversation with yourself, I'm not thinking about it so much anymore. But it's almost like whenever someone calls you up on the phone, it's a cold call, and you know, even if you go into a car showroom or something, you kind of get the feeling that it's like sleazy, or they're just after your money kind of thing. So is it the shift in mindset of, you know, getting away from that and figuring out that, you know, this person actually needs my help, and there's more to the sale than just the money?
Yeah.
It's like your personal drive of knowing the way that it's going to impact people.
For sure, mate. I always say to anyone that I train now on sales, conversion happens in conversation, right? And I'm glad you brought that up, because just the other day, I was sitting at home, and I get easy 10 messages a day, like you know this here, from dudes all over the world telling me that they're going to 10x my business. Even though these dudes don't own a business, they're telling me that they're going to 10x my business. But just the other day, dude, so I got a video message, which was cool, which I thought was great. And usually, like, these dudes are from all over the world, and the names don't really register. Like, you know an American name,
yeah.
But it was a local name,
right?
And it was a video, right? I can't remember the kid's name, but I clicked on the video. And he was basically saying, hey, how's it going? I'm a social media expert marketer, running ads, all this here sort of stuff. And he was a local kid. So I watched the video, and I was just curious to the end. So he basically said, look, I would be interested in helping 10x your business, the whole show. So I was like, right, okay, cool. Now, normally I wouldn't respond, but I did this time because I felt compelled to, because one, I appreciated the balls that he had to send a video, because very rarely do these dudes actually send a video. They used to just send a generic generic copy and paste and send it to the next person. But he sent a video, and he was a local kid. So I was like, boom, I want to message this guy back, right? Now, what I messaged him, and whenever I replied to him, was this. Listen, dude, really appreciate you reaching out, and I wish you every success with what you're doing here. I genuinely do. You're a local guy. I genuinely wish you every success. But let me ask you something here. Why should I choose you if I get 10 of these messages every single day, right, from different people all around the world? Why should I choose you over every other competitive option available? Of course, you know, what's, you know, even into, oh, well, we do this here, and we do this here, and we do this here. But he didn't get the point, right? He sent me a straight up cold call. There was no conversation beforehand. He didn't even know if I needed the product. Maybe I have 12 people doing this for me. Right? But yet and all, he reached out to me cold with no communication prior to it, and said, hey, come and buy my shit. Right? Now, this is the way I like to relate this to, right? Imagine the dating scene, right? So let's say you know the musical chairs dating scene. What do you call it?
Yes, speed dating. Yes.
Right? So let's say you're speed dating, and you go and you sit in front of this girl, and you say to her, hey, how's it going? Right, I'm hung like a donkey. I got a shitload of money in the bank, travel all around the world all year round, and I can take you with me. How's it sound? She would be like, what? Like, literally, we just sat in front of each other here, and every single dude that I just talked to also said exactly the same thing. What the fuck? Right? So she's going to be like, well, I'm kind of sick of listening to that. First time off, it might work. Right? But after a while, it's kind of like, well, let me get to know you for a sec. Like, well, you know, do I actually need all that shit? You know, my ex-husband had that. It's like, fucking get to know, because if you don't know what the person's problems are, you can't solve the problem.
You can't help. You have no use to the person. You're
no real use to them. So it's kind of like, give me a break. You know, create the desire beforehand, and if that's what the customer needs, then deliver on it. But if there's no desire, it's going to be fucking pretty hard to sell based on a cold call. I had this one dude as well message me, and he referred to like Jordan Belfort or something. I can't even remember. I actually said to him, dude, like, stop doing cold calling. It's just annoying and it doesn't work. And he said, oh, ask Jordan Belfort about that. It's like, what? The dude ended up in jail for 5 years. Like, I couldn't even, you know, it's like.
And he's almost like comparing himself.
He's comparing himself to Jordan Belfort. I'm like, dude, like, give me a fucking break, seriously.
So you touched on something. It was the question that you asked the guy. So the first step was actually quite good.
Yeah.
He sent you the video and it made it a bit personal.
Mm-hmm.
And like kind of in his downfall, he didn't follow up with more of those kinds of things. But the question that you asked him is, why should I pick you? So basically what you're asking for is what's called the unique selling point. Like, what makes you different to everybody else who's offering the same sort of service?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you're talking about your product and, okay, we're in the health and fitness industry and, you know, particularly coaching and personal training, and there's a lot of it that goes on.
Yeah.
So whenever you're talking to somebody about the services that you have, or if you're, you know, putting out content and stuff,
mm-hmm.
how much of that do you show? How much do you leave that conversation? What have you found in your experience?
I actually do very little of it, to be fair. Like, I will never tell people what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll either tell them why I do it. Sometimes possibly I'll tell them how I do it. Mm-hmm. But the vast majority of the time, I just solve their problem, mm-hmm. which creates a desire around the product. Now, let's say someone comes on board and, yeah, I've got the answer to their problems, but the connection's not great between me and the person, because I generally find that the vast majority of the time, because people buy from people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Right? If there's no like, and trust factor, and the connection's not there, it's not going to end well regardless. Do you know what I mean? So you would be best served, yeah, sure, solve the person's problems first off, and then if the connection's right, the sale will happen. But if it's not right, you're best sending them elsewhere. Yeah. Let me give you an example, right? So whenever I first started training, 20 years ago, holy shit, well, whenever I first started training in gyms, I started training in a bodybuilding gym.
Yeah.
I mean, like, these dudes were like huge. It was like a mini goals gym, right? only just not as cool, right? So I'm training in this bodybuilding gym, and of course I'm 18. I want to get bigger, right? I want to get jacked like all these dudes. Like, how do I do that? I mean, little did I know that they're all jacked and shit in their art, but, you know, how do I get bigger like that? I want to know. So I went over to this guy, I remember well, and said, look, you know, I'm not going to put on size. Like, how do I go about doing that? And obviously he was the biggest dude in the gym, and he probably didn't want to tell me his real secret, but he was just like, look, you need to go and buy some protein, and just eat like fuck, basically. I was the best. I mean, it was pretty good advice as well. Like. So I was like, right, okay, where do I get it? And he said, go and see the guy that owns the gym. He sells it. So I said, okay, fair enough. So I approached this guy and I said, dude, I want to buy some protein. I'm trying to get bigger. So he was like, right, okay. So he brought me out to the store and he sold me a tub of this stuff, right? So I brought it home and I check in the tub and I'm like, right, two scoops, right? So I'm like, oh fuck it, I want to get big. Let's take 4, right? As you do. So
yeah, double dose.
Double dose of this stuff. So I take fucking 4 scoops, and dude, it was like pre-workout, right? So I didn't sleep for 2 days.
Jesus.
Didn't know what it was, right? I remember rolling about and couldn't sleep. I was pulling my hair out, like everything was going on in my head. It was mental. And only later that I found out that it was pre-workout. Now, here's what happened, okay? That dude made the sale on that day. Let's say it was 40 quid or whatever, right? But I didn't go back to his gym.
Because of the experience.
Because of the experience that I had first off. Now, let's say he had to give me some better advice. Let's say he said, look, I haven't got any protein in at the minute. I'll have some in a couple of days' time, right? In the meantime, if you're really looking at, go here, check out this supplement, do this here. And he had educated me around it. That would have given us a better connection. I would have connected to that person. And then I would have stayed on. I would have spent more money in his facility, and I would have bought more protein off him. So, okay, made the sale up front. But what he lost over time was a lifetime customer.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
That's mad. I think that I think everyone has those kind of almost like horror stories that they kind of, you know, regardless of what industry they're in, be it like car sales, personal training, or whatever, everyone can kind of relate to, or at least know somebody who's probably had an experience similar to that.
Yeah.
So all the more reason to push the know, like, and trust thing, because there's so many people out there. Every one of them wants everyone to trust them, but you know, it's the difference between know, like, and trust, and then I suppose adding on the personal connection.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like doing something for free and not expecting anything off them, because a lot of the times I would say there'd be interaction on social media through comments on posts or likes or even direct messaging, and you know, these people seem keen on the content that's going out, and it will maybe be 6 months' time before they actually go, now I want to work with you.
Yeah.
But it's very rare that they see one post, they like it, and they go, okay, let's do business. Let's do something about it. So that kind of backs that up. You know, the experience that the person has with your information, and you know, you basically just put your willingness to want to help people in front of whether or not it's you that gets a sale, or if it's in the case you were talking about, you know, he sends you off to Holland and Barrett or another supplement company or whatever. So that's really pushing, you know, the human connection.
Yeah, for sure, mate. I mean, that's a big thing that's missing, you know, today, especially because, you know, we grew up in a society where it's like instant gratification.
Yeah.
We just want shit right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, I want this person to buy from me right now. And I think I said it in the previous podcast, you know, statistically, if 100 people waking up tomorrow, right, and decide, I want to get fitter and healthier, my life is a fucking train wreck, I'm overweight, I need to do this, right? Of those 100 people, only 15 of them, statistically, will buy within 12 weeks. Not even within a couple of days, within 12 weeks.
Yeah.
The other 85% are 18 months, right?
Right.
Whereas, like, most people, now I'm going to relate this to our industry, most people in our industry decide that they didn't buy from me today. There's no point in doing that social media post. There's no point in following up with that person. But if we go back and we think you have a duty and an obligation, if someone is at risk of diabetes, heart disease, cardiovascular disease, you have a duty and an obligation to help this person. Don't let one fucking rejection set you back on doing it. Follow up, like, build a communication with the person, build a connection with the person, get them to realize that, because the thing is as well, right, when it comes to the actual psychology of selling, people don't want to be sold. They want to feel like they purchased.
Yeah,
right.
It was their choice.
It was their choice, right? So that's why all these, you know, fucking 80s pickup lines that what's his name, Jordan Belfort used to use, which he still uses on his podcast. It's ridiculous, right? Have you listened to his podcast?
No, I haven't.
Holy shit! Like, he breaks the podcast for like 10, 15 minutes, which is annoying, to try to sell shit. And he's not just selling one thing; he's selling like things for companies.
Right.
It is ridiculous. I listened to it a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, this dude doesn't even believe in what he's trying to sell. He's just spouting shady pickup, or I don't even know what they are. Buzzword things, trying to sell a watch, and then he's trying to sell a yacht, and they're not even his companies.
Yeah.
Places are just paying him, so he doesn't even believe in it himself. If he doesn't believe in it, then how am I meant to believe in it?
Yeah.
Right? Because he's just being paid to sell this, right? Which is ridiculous. That's a story for another day. I've lost my train of thought now. Where was it?
My train of thought was kind of going along the line of, you know, people getting upset with, you know, like a rejection or
okay, yeah.
So if they're going into the conversation expecting the sale, should you flip that? Like, you know, I'm going to do my best to help this person without expecting the sale, and then if they like what I'm giving across, then there's the option for the person to come on board.
Yeah, 100%, mate. That's a good point. Actually, like, I always like to highlight to people, is this the right thing that you're actually doing? Which people do appreciate right away. You know, I have spoken to people, men in their 40s who have responsibilities going through the roof, who have came to me and said, and you know, they work in well-paid jobs, you know, 50k a year plus, and they're like, I cannot do this anymore. I'm in a bad place. I need to do this with my life, and I need to flip the script on the direction that I'm going. And I can remember a couple of times actually saying, "Are you sure like you're doing the right thing here? Do you know the responsibilities that you've got first of all towards your family, and do you know how difficult this transition is going to be?" And they were like, "You know, do you want to sell me the fucking course?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, you know, by all means, I know I've got the tools to help you make this transition, but I'm just making you aware. And I remember this one guy in particular was like, "Look, dude, I'm paying you right here, right now. Put me on the fucking course." So I'm like, okay.
Well, that's probably somewhere in your head, trying to not become another version of the guy who owned the gym who sold you a pre-workout instead of a protein. Do you know what I mean? That's obviously had an imprint and stuff, and you don't want to have anyone else have that experience with you.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I always want to make sure that the product is right for the person. I don't want to sell them a product that they do not need. I know deep down that that the service and the product is the answer that they're looking for, is the answer to their problems, but I just want to be sure.
Yeah. Want to make sure that they know what they're getting themselves in for.
Yeah, I just want to be like 100% confident that, you know, that they're going to see it through, because, you know, at the end of the day, if they become a success story, that's my success story as well.
Yeah.
Essentially, do you know what I mean? Because I helped this person get from A to B. So, you know, I don't want someone coming to me and saying, "Oh shit, I done this here and then it didn't work." It does work 99.9% of the time, but only if they use it the way it's meant to be done.
Yeah, that's cool. It was something we were talking about. It was Andrew, one of the other coaches in the gym, was talking about, and it was actually not actively going out for rejection, but, you know, like, I think it was with Xander Fryer.
Xander.
You know,
We're going to get Xander on a future podcast. We just need to work out the logistics of it.
Yeah, because of location and stuff.
Yeah, he's in San Diego.
But the thing that Andrew was saying is about, you know, like being afraid of the rejection and stuff, and almost like, I don't know if these are the right words to use, but actively looking for a no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because whenever you don't give a shit,
get the first one out of the way.
Yeah. When you don't give a shit about the rejection, then all you have to offer are the positives and, you know, the interaction stuff, and that's, like you said, is what people actually appreciate.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons that, you know, the guys in the gym stay with us for so long, and the reason that they come on board in the first place anyway.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about the academy as well, like the aftercare, those guys don't just do the course and leave. Remember you were saying there was one of the guys at the end of the course went, "Right, now what do I do?" It's like, you go out and you change the word, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have like a Facebook group, and, you know, you talk to these guys even after they've graduated from the course and stuff, and like you're always a source of information and experience and help for them.
Yeah.
So that, again, even after you've sold it, you're still going above and beyond and helping these guys and stuff, because, you know, that's the reason you sold it in the first place. That's the reason why you do it.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose just you know, we deal with a lot of personal trainers, and even coaching personal trainers as well, whenever they finish with us. And one of the biggest problems that I see personal trainers and gym owners come up with, right, is that they reject themselves, right? Like what you were saying, you know, facing that rejection, but they will reject themselves by saying, "My customer base or my audience can't afford that price point."
Yeah.
Right? Now, for one, if you think about it this way, right, that's actually quite offensive.
Yeah, you can't afford me.
Oh, you can't afford me. Even though I don't charge that much, but if I do put my price at this here, you can't afford that. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, if someone tells me I can't afford something, I'm just be like, well, how do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's actually quite offensive. Are you trying to say I'm poor?
Yeah. I can pay for whatever I want.
Yeah, I can pay for whatever I want, dude. So that's one way that I see personal trainers rejecting themselves. They will literally, like, put themselves in fucking all sorts of danger, charging less than what they should be charging, just because they've rejected in their head the idea that their customer base can afford to pay them any more money. And this is the thing as well, right? I know this for a fact. I know that this happens, right? And the same customers pay 5 times more what they're paying in these gyms elsewhere.
Yeah, it's now that you've said that, it's like you initially go out and give this like lower end price because you don't think that someone else is going to pay for it. But it's almost like a flip. Like if you're asking for, you know, a lower rate, then it's to someone else you're like, well, why is it £40?
Yeah.
Whenever this guy is charging £150
Yeah,
or
yeah.
170 or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you kind of put yourself on a, you know, like a groveling kind of platform.
Yeah, man, it comes down to the sort of mindset around it as well. Like, you know, it does take a lot of work to get around doing that, because, you know, a lot of people can't get it in their head. Like, I remember the first time being told this here, and I was just like, it was actually Sean McGarry that told me this, and I was like, holy shit, you're right, and I just applied it from day one.
Yeah.
I was like you're 100% right. Fuck am I even doing?
Yeah.
So he's just like, just go and do that. So I was like, okay.
Just go and do it.
Just go and do it then, right? And it works, trust me, it works. And it gets people invested in what they are doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It gets people to take action. It's holding their feet to the fire and saying, listen, you're heavily invested in this here, so you better fucking do what I say.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works. Because, you know, if we use, let's say, for example, let's say, you know, your bog standard sort of commercial gym now that charge a really low rate, right? We'll take Pure Gym, for example. Okay, so what, like 25 quid a month or something like that, right? People can, you know, they'll pay that and they're happy not to show up to the gym, right? In fact, you know, if Pure Gym has around 3,000 to 4,000 members, they would be in a hell of a lot of trouble if all 3,000 or 4,000 showed up on one day.
Yeah.
Right, so that's going to be a complete another shitstorm and a fire hazard, and everything's going to go wrong there. So they actually rely on these people paying them and not showing up, and that's why it's such a low price point. Like Pure Gym and you know, all these other places, they have the resources and they have the marketing to do that. They have the floor space in order to do that. But if you take, you know, let's say a privately owned gym, and they're doing exactly the same thing, but they've only got 500 members, you know, it's like, what, 10K a month?
Yeah.
That is not going to pay your staff. It's not going to fucking run the facility.
Keep the equipment.
It's not going to, you know, it's not going to keep the wheels turning on the business. Plus, it's 500 people. Like, it's 500 people that you have to sell a 20 quid package. Trust me, it's much easier to sell 5 people a £2,000 package.
Yeah.
It's much easier,
yeah.
right? 500 people is a lot of work. People think, oh, I'll charge this low price and I'll just get the masses in. It doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
Because it's available elsewhere.
And again, like you said, if there is 500 of them, you've got to have the floor space in case they all do show up.
It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, right? Now think of it this way. If you have, let's say 200 members, right? And you charge all 200 members £127 a month, that's 18K. A month. That's less than half of what you would need if you were trying to charge 500 people 20 quid.
Yeah.
Right. So in terms of the actual mindset, even if you just think about the numbers itself, and let's say, you know, okay, you charge more, but people value service.
Yeah.
Right. People will pay more if they're getting a great service. Like, if you're getting them results, you're going to retain customers and they're going to refer their friends. It's just the way it fucking goes. Like, if you're delivering, then you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. Because let's face it, if they're paying a commercial gym 25 quid a month and they're not showing up, they're not getting results.
Yeah.
Right? So you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever in your conversion process by saying, you need to pay more. Right now you're not invested. You fucking need this in your life. It's like, you need it. There's no fucking bones about it. You're either going to continue on doing what you're doing. You're going to continue putting on weight. You're going to continue being depressed. You're going to continue eating shit food. Like, you cannot do this. You just need to be more emotionally invested. Okay, short-term pain, but it's going to be long-term gain.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking it more seriously.
100%, man.
My mind's blown.
Awesome, dude.
It's awesome. A lot to take in.
It is a lot to take in. You know, and I suppose I should say, if you know, if anyone has any questions or anything, just hit us up with a direct message and we'll and we'll respond to them. Like,
So what's your Instagram if you want to get people to get in touch with you? Or?
M_J_Lennon fitness business coach. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
So where
so
can people reach you, dude?
at Coach Steve-O Hybrid,
Yeah.
all one word.
We should say, you know, like, if you are kind of coasting, and which a lot of people do, and this is me, this is a sales pitch, by the way, because I think we've delivered enough value up until now. This is a straight up sales pitch, right? If you are kind of coasting with your training and you're not seeing any results, and you know the waistline is expanding rapidly, just fucking do something about it. Like, invest, right? Invest in a coach, you know. Message Steve-O. That man is, you know, plenty of experience in this area. He will fucking help you out in any which way you want. He will ask for nothing back in return, except that you invest in yourself.
And maybe a hug.
Maybe just a wee hug. And you know, if you are a gym owner and you need some help around this stuff, just hit me up with a DM and we'll get you sorted.
Wrap it up there.
Yep. Peace out.